Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing a spectacular and incredibly rare 2011 launch from Girard-Perregaux. This is the 1966 Annual Calendar, an Equation of Time. From the 1966 collection, inspired by a dress watch from the titular period, this is a watch with an anthracite dial, equation of time, and an annual calendar mechanism, so it needs only one correction a year between February and March. In rose gold, it is 40 millimeters in diameter, 11.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, a wonderfully compact 44.7 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Out of the hand now and onto the wrist, and you can see that it wears beautifully. The lugs are short across the wrist and wonderfully tapered. The fit is outstanding. I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, meaning even the ladies can get in on this 40 millimeter action. Now, not only is it relatively thin at 11.1, but it does have a dramatically sloped bezel and a cupped case back, so it's very low on the wrist, easily sliding beneath a dress cuff. There's your cuff shot, there's your over the top, and even though this exaggerates the width of the watch across the wrist, you can still see that the lugs are nowhere near the edge. This is the definitive shot, down the barrel where there's tons of clearance. The strap is very high grade. Girard-Perregaux factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. Calfskin leather on the bottom, on the top large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather. That's always how you know you're getting a very high grade cut of the animal. Large symmetrical rectangular scales, gloss finish, and it's sort of a cloudy slate blue, somewhere between navy blue and black. It's a different color than any I've seen. It's got undertones of gray and blue and black all at the same time with a lightly contrasting gray stitch. There's some bolstering to give it volume and then a folded edge. And if you look, the watch is designed to fit a small wrist. The lugs are drilled as close to the case as possible, but to ensure there's no impediment to the motion and the range of travel, there's a curved spring bar use, which also helps to close the gap to the case for very little daylight between case and strap. It's thoughtfully designed. We have a GP branded simple pin buckle, no issues there. That is dress watch standard. Now take a quick look at those lugs. Do you see how sharp the break is between the case and the lug? That's indicative of welded lug construction, something that can only be done on a relatively low volume basis as it is labor intensive. You create the lug and the case separately. You insert the lug into a slot in the case, weld them together, and then file away the gathered material from the weld to create an ultra sharp break. Again, this is a handmade case and beautifully so. Everything's polished. There's a little bit of a tumble home from the bezel back. The bezel has a quick vertical lip before transitioning to a conical profile. We have the GP logo on the crown, and everything here is polished. There is a pronounced camber to the sapphire, and then we have a dial with a sunburst anthracite or ardoise coloration to it. Now, what are you looking at? Well, we've got rose gold indices at the quarters, doubled at 12 o'clock. We have printed white lacquer indices for the other hours. We've got our running seconds display. We've got our month display. We have leaf hands in rose gold. We have the equation of time, and then we have the date. Now, one thing that's super cool here with Girard-Perregaux's implementation of an annual calendar is that it moves in both directions. So you can actually make adjustments in real time to the calendar system in both directions. And this even affects the equation of time because the equation of time is dependent on the time of year. And I should also mention the equation of time, unlike something along the lines of sunrise, sunset, equation of time is not geographically proximate. So wherever you are, if you set it correctly, it will work just fine. Now you can also see we have a hacking seconds function and a unique implementation of an annual calendar with the combination of the radial date and then the scrolling aperture style month. So again, annual calendar, one adjustment per year, the jump from February to March. Flipping it all over, we have a Girard-Perregaux manufacturer caliber on the 3300 base. The full name of this movement is the Girard-Perregaux GP033M0. As you can see, it features a significant upgrade in addition to the bidirectional equation of time annual calendar. It has a free-sprung balance with GP's proprietary microvar regulator, and you can see that it is a very fine adjustment mechanism, including a tension spring, the movable index, and then an eccentric screw. And then it's shock resistant because you can only make adjustments by moving the eccentric screw, which can't really be shocked out of position the way a mobile stud index can. And then you have variable inertia bolts inside the balance that are moved in and out to change the polar moment and the fine timing. We have a unidirectional winder with a 46-hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate. By the way, not every version of the 3300 series has the free sprung balance with microvar. This is incredibly rare. It's not something they use often. You can see that the movement's nicely decorated. It pivots on 44 joules. It does have the stop seconds function. Here we have a combination of barrel letdown and crown release, and that's what these two little arrows indicate. The barrel cover is nice. You can see solarization on the barrel cover, and then the ratchet wheel above that likewise solarized. We have nice mirrored beveling on the edge of the bridges. We have blued screws. We have stripes linear across the bridges, circular on the rotor itself. The edge of the rotor featuring a combination of snailing outboard, Côte de Genève across its top, and then mirrored beveling on the edge. All of this water resistant down to 30 meters. And GP, one of the really exciting independents in the business these days, having been bought back from the Caring Group by its own management. GP is now run by its owner, so it is proprietor operated and independent along with its sister company Ulysse Nardin, but GP is said to be the more classical of the two, and I can definitely agree on the basis of this watch it is that. You may ask, what is an equation of time? And that's a really good question. There are two types of time. There is solar time, true solar time, which is the time the sun is overhead, and then there is mean solar time, which is the time that's applied across a time zone. Because if you think about it, every space in a time zone, east to west, is going to experience the sun overhead at a different time of day. So you've got to agree on one midday for every place within a time zone. That is mean solar time. So the difference between the sun overhead, true solar time, and mean solar time being your clock time, that difference waxes and wanes from about negative 15 minutes to positive 15 minutes per day, and it coincides, year, and it coincides 4 times per year. That's when it will indicate 0. Lots to love with this watch. Exceptional pedigree, exceptional rarity, exceptional watchmaking. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.